Hey, welcome everyone. This is Mike from zozostockwatch.com. This is going to be your stock watch list and a little bit of market talk for the 23rd of April, Tuesday. Let's go ahead and take a look at the SPY chart here. As you can see, bulls remain in charge, not giving up that 10 SMA. We came down and tested it a few times today, just would not break. Since they couldn't break it, the bulls pushed us back up. We got back over 290 on the close on the SPY. So a lackluster day, not really a lot of action out here in the big names. There were a few stocks that stood out, but overall the session was kind of quiet. We did find some stocks to trade, mostly cannabis names we were trading at Zozo Stockwatch today. So the Nas ended up the day up 17 points. The transports were down about 11. The Dow Jones 30, most of it because of Boeing, down 48 points, and the S&P 500 plus 3 points. Let's go ahead and take a look at the heat map. So today, a lot of love for the oils. Oil was moving up today. We'll get more into that in a second. Google and the large cap techs were up. Facebook, Google, Amazon up over 1%. Microsoft keeps the movement to the plus side going on. A little bit more selling in some of the pharmacy names. Pfizer, Merck recovered a little bit today, up fractionally for the day. Apple was up fractionally for the day, but hanging in there. Like I said, the oils were up, Schlumberger was up, refiners were up, PSX, VLO, all moving up today on basically what came out today. U.S. announced an end to Iran waivers, so basically telling our allies that they need to stop buying oil from Iran, and that moved up oil quite a bit today. I'll show you that when we go through some of the sectors and whatnot. So let's see. As you know, it's a big earnings week this week coming up. I'll go over the Whirlpool earnings. They came out after the bell, and you see the names that are coming out this week. I went over all the earnings coming out this week on the Let's Get Ready for the Week Ahead video if you want to check that out. And then for tomorrow, courtesy of the Trade Exchange, their calendar, you have home sale prices coming out, home sales numbers coming out, the Richmond Fed manufacturing coming out at 10 o'clock tomorrow. Pretty straightforward as far as the economic information going into the GDP at 8:30 on Friday, the 26th of April. There was an article out in the New York Times, claims of shoddy production draw scrutiny to a second Boeing jet, the Dreamliner, that coming out from the New York Times. That hit Boeing a little bit. So let's go ahead and get into some of the sectors. We'll take a look at Boeing stock. So the sectors that were hot today, like I said, in the marijuana ETF, the MJ was up over 3% for the day. The VIX was up a little bit, but still with a 12 handle on the VIX. The oil services sector up almost 3%. Oil itself up over 2.5% on the day. Crude oil today closed at 65.55, up 2.33% there. The software sector stocks were bouncing. We talked about a few of them on our video last night, stocks to watch. IGV, the software sector, also up 1% on the day. So this was Boeing, before I forget. So BA was down a little bit today on that article from the New York Times. Struggling here with this 380 spot on Boeing at the moment. But anyway, that was the minus 48 points in the Dow today. Let's go ahead and take a look at the railroad sector real fast. That's been very strong, with oil moving up. Railroads have been getting some nice buying. So here's the railroad sector up here at the highs, the DJUS Railroad Index, as you can see, making new all-time highs. Such names as CSX holding up very well after their earnings report. NSC climbing strong today. UNP, another railroad, pushing up today. KSU, Kansas City Southern, also at the high highs here on Kansas City Southern. So railroads are doing very well. So hard to call a top in the markets when you see the railroads doing so well. To the downside today, we had JNUG down over 6%. Steel sector down over 1.33% on the day. The IYR down 1%. That's the real estate index fund. FXI was down about 1%. That's a China ETF. So kind of a mixed match. Let's go ahead and check out those small caps again. This is what folks are watching. The IWC, the micro caps, it's continuing to grind down here. The IWM, the Russell ETF. So that is staying below the 200 SMA, still hanging out at the 50 SMA here on the IWM around that 155. So folks are watching this 155. Today's lows in the IWM were 154.52, but they recovered us back over 155. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that low for tomorrow, that 154.52 spot in the IWM. But in the meantime, like I said, the railroads are doing great. The big cap tech is doing great, pushing up, as you notice here on the Qs, pushing up over highs from recent highs on the Qs. So, tough to call a top here in the market, but the SPY itself a little bit sluggish volume today, about we'll call it 41 million shares, and I am rounding up on that. So at one point during the day, I think around 12, it was about 17 million shares traded in the afternoon around 12 o'clock on the SPY. But we were finding some things that were moving up. We had a trade in PYX moving up strong today. ACB, like I said, the marijuana sector doing real well today. ACB, full disclosure, we have a swing trade going on in this name. Let's see, we got a trade in Cronus Group today, gave us a nice intraday trade, and CGC also gave us a nice intraday trade on CGC. You can see that one popping up, and some of the folks in my room are carrying some of this CGA from our day trade entry, so they're holding it partials as it moved up real strong here on CGC. So the cannabis names were very strong. HEXO had a very good day. Look at this volume coming into HEXO down here on my volume, 9.7 million, 10 million, 9.7 million again. So very, very, very strong volume going into HEXO here. Definitely one to keep an eye on, HEXO in the cannabis space. By the way, YOLO is a new cannabis ETF, a big pop today in YOLO. MJ is the marijuana ETF, and that has that $35 spot up ahead on MJ. We did have some earnings come out after the bell tonight. This is courtesy of the Trade Exchange. This is their news box. Rambus, earnings per share miss for Rambus. That stock moving down. I believe Whirlpool was moving up in the after hours. It is after their earnings came out. Earnings per share beat by 7 cents, but a revenue miss. Whirlpool company reaffirms its full year guidance. So those positive comments coming out from Whirlpool, a nice move up and holding up in the after hours thus far. Let's see if we had any other earnings. CMRE, earnings per share beat by 3 cents. Revenue beat CMRE. So that stock, not much reaction in the after hours on that one. Let's keep scrolling along, see if we pick up any other news here. HSTM, earnings per share beat by 8 cents. Revenue beat on HSTM. Not much reaction to that. LENS was halted at one point in the after hours tonight. Stock is getting hit. It's an under $1 name, Lens. They had some information come out from their 8K, so you could kind of pause the video, read that for yourself right there. So that stock taking a hit in the after hours tonight. There was a Seeking Alpha article that came out on this ATHX. So this stock was moving up in the after hours. Here's the article if you want to go out on Seeking Alpha and try to find it. So Atheris, I guess, is poised to snatch the holy grail of acute injury. So that was moving that stock up in the after hours. ATHX. We'll have it on watch for tomorrow. That'll be one on my watch list. We'll get into that in a moment. ATOS was also up in the after hours. I didn't see any news on this one though. So ATOS is climbing in the after hours. And I think some top insider purchases that came out after the bell tonight. CHAP and Morgan Stanley, MS, some top insider purchases. ATHX also May 14th to host Investor Day in New York City. So additional news coming out there on ATHX, sorry. And this news courtesy of the Trade Exchange. Some of your unusual call and put activity for today. JD call activity on the bid side. The OIH May call activity. CSX call activity. DKS, sorry. SIRI, Siri, Box was moving today. Even John Najarian mentioned this one on CNBC. So Box, BOX, was moving throughout the day. That's another one that's on my watch list. We'll get into that in a second. DMRC call activity in that name. Put activity, GDX, KNX, Crone, KR, and SFLY. And once again, this courtesy of the Trade Exchange, some of the unusual call activity that happened today in the market. By the way, just wanted to show you a site. It's called earningscast.com. If you ever wanted to listen to some of the earnings calls, you could go to this site. You just click on the box with the symbol, and you can listen to the earnings conference call. Rambus had theirs at 5 o'clock. Zion was another stock that came out with earnings after the bell tonight. Let's check that one out. Zion. We'll do that right now. Let's check Zion. I forgot to look at that when I was going through the news. Zion leaning towards the downside on their earnings. I didn't see what their earnings were. By the way, another thing for new traders out there, you could go to this screencast, omatic.com. You can start recording your trades free. This is what I used to do when I first started out. I think it gives you up to 15 minutes free recording. So you can actually record your trades and see how you do. So you can actually videotape your trades if you're new, and you can keep track of them that way. So anyway, I think you really get about 15 minutes of free video time. Then you erase that video, and then you can make a new video. Now, if you want to join it, you can go that way too. But for new traders, to take videos of your trades, probably the best way to keep track of your trades when you're first starting out. I mean, writing it on piece of paper and a journal, that's great and all, but to see your actual entries and whatnot in video format is probably the best thing to do. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the sectors. So the XLE up 2.1%. That's the energy sector. The XOP also up almost 4% on the day. The XLC, the communication service, up fractionally for today. So mostly it was the oil sector that was up strong today. If we go ahead and look at what was down, the XRT was down 2%. That's the retail ETF. And of course, the airlines were down 1.5% on the day with oil moving up strong. Over in the Dow, stocks that were down, we had Nike down 2%, Boeing was down over 1%, American Express, some profit taking going on there, down 1%. To the upside in the Dow, UNH up over 2% on the day, ExxonMobil up 2%, Chevron up over 1.5% on CVX up 1.70%. Some of your best stocks for the day. Let's see, best stocks for the day. PYX, which full disclosure, we have a swing trade going on in PYX in the service at Zozo StockWatch, was up 20.63%. DBX had a strong day today, up 9% on the day. CGC was up strong. Crone up 7% on the day. So that's some of your best stocks. To the downside, DDS got hit today, down almost 10%. Overstock down over 7.5%. 3.5%. ISRG moved down further today after their earnings Thursday, down 7% on the day. Over in the marijuana sector, like we said, to the upside, you had CGC, Cronus Group, Tilray up about 6% on the day. HEXO up almost 5% on the day. GWPH was up 4% on the day. To the downside here, IGC down a little, about 3.5%. VFF continuing to move down on this name, down 3%. Cara down today 2%, over 2% on the day. Some of your small caps that were real strong today, MBRX up real big today, big strong candle in MBRX. You should probably keep this one on watch for the next few days, next few weeks. So that one was very strong. ICON had a good strong move today, up 26% on the day. FBIO and MBIO recovering a little bit today, getting some buying. SUNW, we talked about this one on the video last night, making a strong move in the solar sector. We also talked about VSLR last night, and that one pushing up also on VSLR. So that's some of the names in the IPO sector today. Let me just get through this. Let's see. GHSI down 13%. That was one of your worst IPOs today. HARP down 13%. To the plus side, TCRR up 14%. NFE up 11%. PHAS up 8% on the day on this name. Not a bad looking daily chart here on this PHAS, a recent IPO. All right, let's go ahead and get into that watch list. ACB looks interesting here. Full disclosure, we have a swing trade going on in this name at Zozo StockWatch. So ACB perking up today in the cannabis sector. Keep your eye on this one. Has that 925, 930 area if you want to take a look at it. AMD holding up pretty well here. Here's that chart that I showed last night, starting to get up over that $28 area, maybe 28.25, 28.30 for AMD. Keep an eye on that one. ATHX, this is the one that had news after hours of that SNA article. It popped up to $1.65. It's pulling back a little bit. I'll have it on watch. I'm not really in love with this one, but we'll see if it has any follow through for tomorrow. ATOS was up in the after hours. I didn't see any news on it, so I'm not sure why this was up, but it is back above $3. Nice move in the after hours here, so that'll be on watch. Bank America, still watching this one to take out that 310, 312 area on Bank America. Box had that unusual call activity, was strong all day today, has that $20 spot up ahead on BOX. Call activity, John Najarian talking about this one on CNBC, moving that one, so it'll be on watch. CGC could just be getting started here. The high today on CGC was 48.70. Keep an eye on that name. Cronus Group also. Keep an eye on this name, trying to get back over the 10 SMA. 10 SMA is at 1673, so we did get back above it. The high today on Cronus Group was $17, so watch that 1705 spot on CRON. Gurn today, perking up a little bit here. Volume 2.7 million on Gurn, getting above the 10 SMA, the light blue line you see here on my chart. So Gurn, I'll have it on watch, maybe kind of a back burner. Looks like it needs to get through $2 though, and it's still below the 200 SMA on that one. HEXO, like we talked about previously in the video, coming up to the highs here of about 720, 725. So let's see if this one sets up intraday for tomorrow. ICON had a strong day today. It's still under the 200 SMA, but look at the volume picking up in this name on ICON. So 250 is up ahead, and the 200 SMA right now is at 262. So maybe over that 250 area, but keep in mind 262 is around that 200 SMA. Life had some 13D information come out during the intraday session, was perking up. If you like these under $1 names, keep your eye on LIFE, Life. Mara in the crypto space, coiling here, right? Nice coil, has that 350 number up ahead, maybe over 345, but maybe best to wait for it to get up over 350. MBRX, like we said, a big strong day today. We tried to trade this in the service. We were trying it in the morning. It just did not want to go. Later in the afternoon, this thing really took off, and I had taken my eye off of it, but a big move up there in MBRX. MJ looking better here. If you're looking just to get into an ETF for the marijuana sector, this over 35 bucks could get interesting on the MJ. Netflix, pushing back up over the 50 SMA here, has this 380 number up ahead for Netflix. So nice recovery here in Netflix. Keep that one on watch. We talked about Okta yesterday on the video and how we had this hammer candle. And look at this nice reaction on Okta. ZS also, same thing, hammered right at the 50 SMA, and nice move, nice continuation move here in both of those names on ZS. In the previous video, I think it was the Let's Get Ready for the Week Ahead, I gave you the FinViz scan that I use. So check that video and you can get the scan. It's called the hammer scan. So definitely add that to your arsenal. SAEX, perking up a little bit. Tried this one today, just didn't want to get going. Maybe if it takes out the highs today, 427, 430, maybe it'll do better. If oil's going to continue to move up or stay strong, keep your eye on this SAEX. SMAR in the software application space. Watch this one over 4160, 4155 for SMAR. Looks interesting here, right? Holding above the 10, the 50. Keep an eye on it. WHD in the oil sector had a strong day. Let's see if this one wants to do anything. To be honest, I've never heard of this oil stock. Came up on a scanner, Cactus, I guess. So I'll be watching it. Not very familiar with it. 1.1 million shares. Yuma, for those that like the under $1, under 50-cent names, small little oil stock, volume picking up in this name. Probably needs to get over that 25-cent spot on Yuma. So keep an eye on that. And then lastly, ZYNE had a big move today, over 4 million shares on ZYNE. Keep an eye on that one. Good strong close on ZYNE. Good volume. Looks interesting. Maybe some kind of red to green move tomorrow on ZYNE. All right, this is Mike from zozostockwatch.com. That's your market talk and some watch list stocks for tomorrow. We'll be back at it with another video tomorrow night for Wednesday.